You all, we are not licensed professionals. We are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again.
Welcome back to another episode of the Friendship University podcast. This is your host, Miki, and I'm joined by my amazing co-host, Kristen. How you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm maintaining, and I'm just trying to be okay with everything that's going on in the world. So
motherfucking goddamn tweet, yo. It's crazy how an entire generation is just like collectively sitting here waiting for a recession, the collapse of America, anything at this point. Anything that's not this at this point. We are just like, well, this sucks.
You know what's funny? This would be my second recession, and it will probably be my mom's fifth or sixth at this point. And I know that the economics, we have our ups and downs, but it's kind of crazy how we're at the age now where we can see the signs of a recession coming. Because that first recession, I didn't know. I was in high school or something.
Yeah, and I was young.
Yeah, I was very young.
I mean, I might have noticed it by things in the household, not going out as much or going on vacations as often, but this is my first adult recession, and it's ghetto.
Ghetto!
Gas is $4.25 here right now.
I need the Yelp page for Earth, because I need to rate it.
1 out of 5 stars. Extremely ghetto. Would not come back.
Would not recommend. Keep going in the spaceship. Skip over. Go to the next planet. So yeah, but I'm hopeful, and I am, like I said, just trying to be okay. So I've been watching my words lately on how I speak over the world in my life. So I'm hopeful.
Control that narrative. I like it.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing good. I took a nice nap after work today.
Of course you did.
I'm not even going to take that as an insult. I do be taking naps.
No, you should. I think that's a beautiful thing. Anyone out there who feels ashamed for taking time to yourself to rest, that is a trick of the enemy, and do not let this world tell you that you should feel bad for making sure that you are physically and mentally okay. A lot of things happen out of sleep deprivation. Things are heightened. I listen to a lot of true crime. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I'm a female that listens to a lot of true crime. But I love it. And I've seen several stories about people committing crimes because of sleep deprivation. One guy killed his whole family. He hadn't slept in 6 days. He said he was being tortured. It was a lot because he was going through some mental health issues, because he was like, I'm being tormented by demons and all types of things.
Yeah,
I'm keep me up.
Sleep's really important. If I be getting delirious if I don't get 8 hours, so I can imagine what it'd be like to be fully sleep deprived. But yeah, overall I'm doing good though. Looking forward to my trip next week, which is super exciting.
You going to? Can I tell the word where you're going? We won't tell the
General
exact.
area, but I'm
Yeah,
going to Spain,
you're
and
going to
that's all you need to worry about.
Spain.
Let's leave it at that. 'Cause
Have a good time. You're gonna enjoy it. I loved my time in Spain.
I'm looking forward to it. If I don't come back, just send my cat to me.
Don't say that. You are gonna come back, and you're gonna.
Why would I
so
come back
many
to this
stories.
ghetto 50 states?
Oh, you mean if you don't come back by choice, not if you go missing. The world we live in, my mind automatically went to.
Yeah, by choice.
He's gotta come back.
Well, also, it would be kind of a scene though, because for those who don't know, I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'6", so it would be quite interesting to see someone try to like kidnap me. That being said, none of y'all get any ideas, because I will fight. I will punch you in the face. I will do everything I can to escape.
I'm happy. I'm happy that you are 6'6", because you can definitely hold your own over there. That you have a big advantage. No pun intended. But yeah, so as we said, welcome back to another week. You can expect episodes from us every Friday, Friendship Fridays, and we thank you for just tuning in again. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome one, welcome all. If you haven't caught on by now, it's your first time, we tend to like to do icebreakers to introduce the topic, and sometimes they will tell you very intricate details about our own life, or to tell you intricate details about someone that we know. No names are ever dropped, though, because, we have
We ain't
respect.
trying to run no one, no hands, okay?
I mean,
Kristen,
I have
maybe.
been
Kristen
thinking
be
about.
wanting to fight.
No, I'm not a fighter anymore. Even though sometimes I wonder if I still have it. Even though I feel like I do still have it, but sometimes you wonder. I have a fault.
Right, this isn't the icebreaker, but I have those moments where I'm like, I wonder if I still got it. Can I still knock somebody out? Like what?
I be waiting for the right moment where I can feel it, because everybody films everything nowadays. So if it just makes sense for me to be on film to do this, I'm waiting for that moment.
Don't be like these rappers out here who be incriminating themselves on whole songs and videos.
Woo! That's another topic for another day. I'm not going to say anything to get us canceled, because if I tell you my opinion on that, some people may never come back. But yes, so this week, the icebreaker is going to be a question. And I'm wondering, Miki, can you think about a time when you have embarrassed a friend?
Probably more times than I can count.
Okay.
For those who don't know, I have really no filter. I really just be myself no matter where I am.
It is what it is.
And myself, it's an acquired taste, Some people are like, oh my god, this guy's a lot. Other people are like, oh my god, you're so cool, or whatever. But thinking of an experience where I embarrassed a friend, it's actually someone I had just met too. Like we had just started hanging out. You're like, oh, let's go out to get some drinks and get some food or whatever. I was like, cool, sounds good. Probably right around 22 years old at this point, so a few years ago. So we go out, we're hanging out. We go get some food. It was really good Mexican food. Forgot where we went, but it was super tasty. Ended up going out to like one of the local bars here in Atlanta, and we started drinking. And you know how it goes. You really don't expect to get like super drunk. It just kind of happens.
Sneaks up on you.
It just sneaks up on you. You just never know. So 1 Long Island, 2 Long Islands.
Got you a Long Island type of bee.
3 Long Islands, 4.
Ooh, okay.
It just went downhill real quick. I have never been blackout drunk. Don't have any anticipation on becoming
There's
blackout
nothing
drunk.
on that side.
Black. All is blackout. There's nothing over there but blackness. I have no interest in getting blackout drunk. Like, I'm not a big drinker now, honestly. Like, I have maybe like a cup of wine when we do this podcast. Mm-hmm. But let's just say, after that evening, there were some videos and some stories of maybe a lap dance here, maybe a make out with someone I shouldn't have been making out with there. Just, being probably not my best self. And that's not really a good impression to have in front of a new friend, especially when that friend was very much in control of themselves. Again, not really sure how I got there or why I got that drunk. I mean, yes, the numerous Long Islands played a big part into it. But, don't really know why I decided to have, 6 Long Islands and a couple of shots thinking that I can handle it.
Oh, you out here. So you turned into a whole, like, sorority girl.
Pretty much. Like, think about... I was going to say no disrespect, but I don't necessarily mean that. Think about the stereotypical UGA student who just went to school. They have no home training. They don't know how much alcohol they can handle. And that was me at the great age of 22. Haven't got that drunk since. Once again, have no anticipation on getting that drunk ever again. I would not recommend it. But how about yourself? Have you ever embarrassed yourself in front of a friend? Or embarrassed a friend, I should say?
Absolutely, but are you still friends with that person? I'm wondering.
Actually, no, but not for that reason. They're actually super sweet about it. While yes, I did throw up all over the car, and all over their driveway, and then again, all over in their house. They were super sweet about it. They actually got me a shower. They bathed me, and no, before you freaks think something happened. No, it did not happen. Nothing happened. It was just someone being nice. Put me to sleep, and then actually the morning after, we got Waffle House, went back to his house and chilled, and then actually he just introduced me to my now favorite movie, Baby Driver. Love that movie.
Cute. It's and it has a pretty awesome soundtrack.
It's a really good soundtrack, really good movie. It's based in it's based in Atlanta. I watched we watched the movie, and I was like, this is probably my favorite movie ever. But yeah, we're not friends now, not for that particular reason. We just fell out, life moves on.
Just fell out of contact.
But no bad blood or anything like that. I'm sure we would still be friends now.
That's fair.
Unless they're secretly still embarrassed about that situation and they're avoiding me, which
was it immediately after?
No, it took a few months. We actually hung out again after that.
Okay. It probably wasn't that.
Yeah, probably not.
Life taken care of. I have embarrassed a friend or two. I too am not a blackout drinker person. Now I can hold my liquor. I come from a Caribbean background, and I have Irish blood in me, so I can definitely hold my liquor, but I don't drink as much as I used to. I guess it's just getting older, and I like to partake in other party favors. So this probably happened in my early 20s as well, and I'm trying to think about what's the name of the place we were at. I was at a birthday party for a mutual friend, and I went with another mutual friend of that friend. So I knew probably 30% of the people that were going to be there. We went to this club called Harlem Nights. If you've ever been there in Atlanta, I don't even know if it's still open, honestly.
I've never heard of it.
It's a black ass club.
That explains probably why I've never heard of it.
Black. Think about good chicken wings, hookah, people rolling up, dance floor, the top 50 R&B and hip hop DJ hits is spinning. So it was actually a really cool spot. To my knowledge, never got shot up or anything like that.
As sad as it sounds, that's really impressive.
That's why I had to make that disclaimer, because we had a really good time. But I went there and we were, I didn't get blackout drunk because I do remember, but it got to a point where I had to piece together the night for sure. We got there partying. They had a section. We were drinking in sections. If you buy bottles. So this particular person was the type of person to buy bottles, and then they're not really
they had money.
Stingy with their they just like to have a good time. So
because the way I would be sending everybody a Zelle in the morning, you all owe me $35.
He is not lying.
Okay, a bottle? What? How much is a bottle at the club?
At least $200.
And y'all would
maybe
all
about
be
100
getting
or something.
a Zelle in the morning.
Yeah.
If you ain't Zelling, you ain't drinking.
I was never a bottle girl. I was a bartender for quite a bit of time, but from what I know, they're about around $200 a bottle. So 100% market value for sure.
I'm good, love, enjoy.
You're your early 20s, and we were working for a company that was pretty prestigious, so we felt, we was feeling ourselves, and we was just out here. So, but had a couple of drinks, and then, so I'm gonna say this, and I may incriminate myself, but who cares? This is to this day. This is why I don't really smoke Kush. Kush has always made me sick, and I don't know what it is. And the rappers always talk about it, and street boys, and maybe my body's just not built for that. My body ain't built for the streets, so maybe it's not built for Kush either. But we were in the club. Some ballers came over to the section.
I love how you couldn't see this, but she put air quotes on ballers.
Came over to the section and they bought a couple of bottles and they were rolling up. And I had a few drinks at this point, and then I started to smoke. And it was in blunt paper. So that's the tobacco on top of that flour. So I got extremely sick. But before I got sick, I got in party mode. So I was like twerking and just before twerking was twerking and just like out here having a grand old time. But at some point I went to the bathroom and threw up. And my friend was like, we gotta go, because you're not gonna make it. I'm looking at your face, you're not gonna make it. I had these platform Jessica Simpson heels on. They were probably about 6 inches. So the heel was 6 inches, and then if you know anything about platforms, the front of your foot has a platform on it. I was stumbling. Like, I remember my foot toppling over, and I just could not walk in them. And if anybody out there who's gone out cute and come home looking raggedy, it's just like, damn, I really went out here looking mad Beyonce, and I came home looking like Christina Aguilera in the Dirty video.
Oh my God.
How did this happen? So she managed to get me out of the club. I remember stumbling on the sidewalk as she was carrying me to the car. And I think I had driven. So she drove my car. I threw up in the car. We went to another mutual friend's house because that person was at the party, and they were a little bit closer to Harlem Nights than my house was at the time. I threw up on their carpet. They said she got to go because she's not going to throw up again. So
that would be me. I'd be like, oh, yeah, sweetie, you has got to bounce. Get out of here.
She put me back in the car. I threw up again. We made it to my house. She had to force me up the steps because I laid down in the living room area, and I was like, I'm just gonna sleep here. It's fine. She's like, no, I'm gonna take you upstairs. Thank God for good friends. But she took me upstairs and I slept it off. The kicker is I woke up the next morning and did not see my car in the driveway, and I thought someone stole it because I did not remember that she took my car home. So I called her and I'm like, somebody has stolen my car. And it was like that scene from Baby Boy where Baby Boy is calling Yvette and he's like, somebody else stole the car. I'm so sorry. She's like, nobody stole the car, Jody. He's like, what you talking about? It's not in the driveway. And she's like, I stole my car, Jody. so that's what it felt like. But I'm thankful for good friends. If you're going out and you want to have a good time, that's all well and good, but make sure you have people around you that you trust that will take, because I have seen some people out at these festivals, at these parties, their friends ain't shit.
High and dry. They're like, yeah, I know you're overdosing and all, but I need to go see Charlotte DeWitt.
Okay, I need to go see Cardi B. Lizzo's coming on, 2 Chainz, all that.
Here's some water. I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay, the Migos stage is right here, girl. Just
stay right here. I'll be back in like 30 minutes.
And they are, I literally have caught people in my arms because they have passed out. And it's nobody is around like, oh, that's my friend, let me up. Like, I've had to call the EMT before. I'm like, y'all ain't shit leaving your friends out here to dry like this. But yeah, I'm thankful for good friends. What about, can you think of a time where you had a friend embarrass you?
Also, way too many times. Picking just one is so difficult. Yes. So Kristen likes to go all the way up. She likes to be all the way up. And it's the first time I took you to a show. And I wasn't embarrassed, but it was also like I had never seen you like like really drunk before or anything like that before. Like not to by the way, not to say like, oh my god, Kristen was all over the place or anything like she wasn't. She's as wild as you can be. You still keep yourself together for the most part. But I remember I took you to a show in Atlanta. If you aren't aware yet, it's very obvious. I love electronic music, specifically techno, or whatever the case may be. But the show we went to, don't remember who it was. I think it was like Marcus Schultz. It was just a show to go to. We had fun. So I get there a little early. I'm dancing. I meet some friends of mine who are already there. Kristen had bought a ticket last minute. Was super excited for her to go to a show. I got there maybe like an hour before you. And I think before you got there, I think you guys said you were like pre-gaming or like whatever at your house or like with a friend. I was like, okay, cool. I'll see you when you get here. Kristen shows up to the club looking fly as hell, gorgeous as always, beat for the gods, as they say, as the youngins say. She's having a good time. We get a drink, we're dancing and stuff like that. And then it hits me that Kristen is really drunk.
I was dancing. I remember that Marcus Schultz because we didn't leave till like 3 or 4 in the morning. And you were like, you're going to the after party. I was like, bitch, I'm going home.
To bed. But it hit me that you were super drunk because you were super talkative, which isn't a problem. Like you were talkative, like you were dancing on me and stuff like that. Not a problem and stuff like that. But this is the part that had got me. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but there was a gentleman who was like with us who was dancing or whatever. Wasn't part of our group, just a guy who was just like in our general vicinity.
Oh, I think
you were on this man. Let me tell you, Kristen was ready to bring this man home.
I wasn't ready to bring him home.
He was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. He was a very beautiful black man.
Having a good time.
He was gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. I can see why you were attracted to him. The situation with this though is that homie was homosexual.
He wasn't attracted to me, but that's the reason I was dancing with him because I knew that he wouldn't expect anything from me at the end of the night. I love dancing with the homosexuals.
That man was looking at you like, I need you to step at least an arm's length away from me. I am trying to get with the men.
Then I don't know. Why are you dancing back? Stop dancing. Don't interact. Don't react to my dance. Stop dancing back, I'll take the message that you're not enjoying yourself at that point.
So sorry for that noise. This damn fucking mic stand in my hat. But anyway, but yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing, but it was also kind of like one of those, like, girl, are you aware of what you're doing? This gentleman is into men.
I do remember that, because like I said, I remember we were leaving out, and you were like, yeah, I'm going to the after party, and I was like, it's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm going home. That was my first techno show in a couple of years, I would say. Because I used to do like overnight raves and go to shows all the time. And I'd stop. If you haven't gotten it by now, I am a full-fledged adult who likes to go to bed when the sun goes down. So doing that, going to a show at 11 p.m. and getting home when the sun comes up, not really my thing anymore. I mean, I may do it every now and then. I.e. what we just did a few months ago, but only every couple of months. I don't have it in me anymore, Jack. I don't have it in me.
That's respect, though. I used to go to shows a lot, and now I'm like, ooh, it's 10 p.m.
I'm tired. I love how you use me as your story, but that's fine.
I mean, here's the thing, though. So, as interestingly and maybe at the time embarrassing as it was, I still think it's a really funny story. If you really embarrassed me to a point where I was like, oh wow, you have absolutely no home training, we probably wouldn't be friends. This might make me sound like an asshole because I have not always been this, well, not always been this way, but I've been in a situation where I was way too drunk and I didn't have this experience. But there's something that's just, personally speaking anyway, like there's something about a friend who can't hold it together out in public, and not even like in a sense of like being under the influence of any kind, but like friends who just have no manners, or friends who can't handle their their substances, or friends who just act out of pocket. And as for me, I don't really vibe well with that. Like I'll try to be like, hey girl, you can't be doing that, you can't be out here cussing in church or talking about, last night's
Or
hookup in front of my parents or whatever.
Yeah, always trying to fight
Oh,
people.
okay, always want to start something with someone.
Yeah.
I don't really do well with that kind of energy. I know some people who were like, "Oh my god, I love my crazy friend Taylor. Yeah, she punched the waiter in the face, but that girl's crazy. Good for you. Happy you have that kind of relationship, but I don't do very well with that energy. So honestly, the embarrassing story, I didn't have many as far as friends go, because usually if I see someone exhibit those energies or that kind of behavior, I'm like, all right, well, see you never again.
You don't even bring it up. You don't try to like talk to them to figure it out. Like, oh,
It
hey,
depends.
you had a bad night last night. Is that something that you normally go through? Or
It depends. If it's like a consistent, like, okay, like, you've done this numerous times, I'll definitely start pulling away.
Because this was in that Marcus Schultz show was in kind of in the beginning stages of our friendship, I would say.
Was it? Maybe it was. But I mean, like I said, make me. But no, like I was saying, it maybe makes me sound like an asshole or something like that. But you just
You like what you like. I mean, you can deal with what you can deal with.
I
honestly,
like stability. I like peace. I like
you like being sure of what people
being
are
sure what
capable
people.
of.
Yes, and that's where that kind of the anxiety or whatever kind of kicks in. Where I'm like, ooh, can I trust you in these streets? Like,
You're a firecracker. I don't know where
okay,
you're
like
gonna go.
we might end up in jail tonight. I'm not trying to do that. Like, I can't do hard time.
That's fair.
I can't do prison.
That's fair. I have had a few friends who go off the rails. They're hotheads and, or even like friends who are rude. And some of them I'm still friends with today. They grew. I like to give people grace. I'm a person who will address an issue. If I have a problem about anything, if anyone knows me, I'm very vocal about my emotions, about the way I feel about something. I want to make sure that other people feel okay about things. So I'm going to address something because at the end of the day, I live by the motto that you can never give a test on no material you ever presented. So I can't expect you to know what I'm feeling or what I'm thinking about. I can't test you if I've never said that this is an issue. So there have been some people who I have approached and I'm like, you were kind of rude to that server, or you did XYZ, and I felt like that was a little unnecessary. It's your server, not a servant. And some people have responded like I was just having a bad day or whatever, and some people are just like, oh, whatever. And so then I can't control the way you react, and you can't control the way that I react. Mm-hmm. My reaction was to never talk to you again because we don't have anything in common. I still have a friend. They are not a hothead anymore, but they used to go out. And when I tell you, like, someone will be looking, like, let's say I'm looking at you and you think I'm looking at you, but I'm really looking at the picture on the wall behind you, but you think I'm looking at you, and they'd be like, what the F are you looking at? And I would lean over and I'd be like, they're looking at the picture on the wall behind you.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's circumstantial. It depends what's going on. Like people who do that, like that really rubs me the wrong way. I grew up around people who had very fiery tempers and who would act that way. So it's very like, nope, don't want to be around that. Mm-hmm. Seems like childhood trauma. Don't want to do it. So like I said, it depends on the circumstance, depends on what they did, like how bad what they did was, how close are we or whatever. Of course, I can be a very forgiving person. Like, if you just had a bad day or you drank too many, like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, girl, you're so bad. Oh my god. But like, even like to an extent, or like not even to an extent, like pulling back a little bit, like I feel like those are also certain behaviors that you can kind of pick up on before that situation comes up. Like, more than likely, just if your friend's kind of rude or whatever when they're drunk, they're probably rude in real life, but they're a little bit better about hiding it, or whatever the case may be, or they show it in different ways. So, it's just circumstantial. But yeah, tell me about a time you've embarrassed a friend.
Or I've had a friend embarrass me.
Or I had a friend embarrass you.
Yeah. I like to just talk about that a little bit. There are cues that happen beforehand, I would say, for sure. Like the hotheadness. I saw that this person did have some anger issues. They were pretty pessimistic a lot. They tend to look at things from a let me get them before they get me mentality. So when they would blow up when we went out, that wasn't unexpected. But again, that was something that I had to talk to them about. So we can look for those cues. Let me think. A time where a friend is actually an actual time. There have been a lot. Just as like I'm pretty sure I probably have embarrassed people quite a few. I guess sometimes I didn't even know.
Like I said, I don't have many, like out of all the experiences I've had, that's one of the lighter ones.
No, it's funny. It's funny because I remember thinking about that night, and I was like, "Woo!" I was out there. I mean, I woke up the next day and I was like, "Woo!" Young Kristen was activated, and now I'm back to elderly Kristen.
You know what's funny about that? Actually, about how you just said young Kristen. That evening was the night where I dubbed you Kristen with a K. So Kristen's name is spelled with a C, and when Kristen gets way too drunk or excited or whatever the case may be, she becomes Kristen with a K. It's basically Kristen here, but like no filter, no home training, but like, you know, not a tremendous amount of it. But a good time though. I love Kristen with a K when she shows up. We have a good time.
She doesn't show up too often now, but
it's been a while. I haven't seen her in a bit.
Yeah, she's on. I mean, you know, you turn a certain age, you turn to a new decade, and it's just you're just tired. You don't have it in you anymore.
None.
I mean, you're talking about a bitch that used to walk around with. We used to get off work, go to Taco Mac, have shots, go to somebody's house, have more shots, you know, have extracurricular activities. Just do. And now I think about that and I'm like, ugh, I can't make it. I'm not gonna be able to make it, dog. People ask me to dinner at 7 p.m. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to make it.
I work from home, and I be as soon as that 5 o'clock hits, I'm like, I'm going to bed. I'm tired. I'm not leaving this house.
Okay, going to bars. I used to go and being a bartender too. It just kind of like veiled that for me because I was working late, so I was used to being up. I was a night owl, and I used to get work done at night. So like personal work because I was working during the day and all these different things, and like you learn about alcohol. So and I am really actually into like spirits and coffee. Like I love mixed drinks and stuff like that, and that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I just I don't have it in me anymore. So to think on a time where a friend embarrassed me, I would probably say I was at a festival. A music festival, and it was kind of one of those hot hit situations, but it was awkward because if you've ever been to a large event, this could be for anything, sporting, anything, you know, when you exit, there's a plethora of people leaving at the same time. So you're kind of just trying to move with the traffic, the flow of traffic, and you're going out. And sometimes you can be a little close to people in that atmosphere. And this particular situation, there was a couple behind us that was showing a bit of BDA. They were feeling it, you know. They had a good time. We had just seen an artist. They was all the way up.
All the way up.
And so they were showing some PDA and getting hot and bothered. And this person decided to be like, you know, in their kind of like elevated stance, get a room or something like that. Now, granted, sarcasm is one of my love languages. I speak in sarcasm on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, I'm not adverse to it when you say it. Here's the thing when you say things like that. You need to be ready to fight if you're going to say it in public.
Oh, for sure. If you open your mouth, be prepared for repercussions.
You need to be ready for the repercussions of it. And this person wasn't. So, of course, they say something back, and then it becomes this kind of like spew of an argument. And I knew I was going to have to step in because this wasn't the first time I had to step in for this individual and fight. Now, granted, it was years and years and years ago that I had to do this, but I knew what was to come. And I was like,
no. If this is a repeat behavior, you on your own.
We
I'll see
were
what
adults. We were adults. We were in our 20s at this point. And so I had to look at them, and I literally like turned them and looked them in the eye, and I said, you listen to me. We're not doing this because you can't fight, and I'm not about to fight. Because you know what they do to adults that fight? They take them to jail.
Prison. Okay.
And that is where I'm not going. Prison, jail, you can keep it. I'm not doing anything to get rid of my freedom.
Don't look good in stripes.
Okay, keep it. I'm not giving up my freedom for no one. No snitching, keep it. I'm not. So, yeah. That was probably a time that I had to have a come to Jesus moment with that individual, and I let them. Just a pro tip: do not try to talk to someone in an inebriated state about what they are doing in their inebriated state at that moment. It's gonna be like
a toddler
or a brick wall. Yes, they're not gonna. You're gonna be talking in sin.
A brick toddler.
Yeah. Our toddlers are bricks. They bust you right in your head.
Toddlers really are bricks.
I like it. Yeah. You will be talking in gibberish for sure. So let them come back to their sober state of mind. And this goes for even if they're not inebriated, but if it's in the heat of the moment, right? So if you're in the heat of an argument and you feel you're not thinking logically, take a step back. Take a moment. You do not have to come to a resolve that night. I don't think people understand that you're not always going to come to a resolve in the moment. Sometimes you just have to step away, think about it a bit, and come back. But
Preach.
Yeah, disagreements and all that we could talk about in another episode. So I let them go home, sleep it off. And they hit me up the next day, and they were talking like normal, like nothing had happened. And so I was like, okay. Well, I let a good 5 minutes go by to just see if they were going to bring it up. And they did not. So I said, commercial break. So this happened last night. This is unacceptable. We're adults. I need to understand if this is something that you feel okay about or how you feeling. If you can show me that you have some type of I don't want you to have condemnation about it. I just want you to have a bit of conviction about it. Like, I want you to think about it like, I did something that I feel like I'm not proud of. And that's not the person I want to be. Like, that's not the character I want to portray to the world. And if you can show me that a lot of times, I can accept that people can be brought out of character. Sometimes some things happen. You never know what's going on in someone's life. Like, maybe seeing PDA triggered them because they didn't have a significant other. You know, who knows? So after that, we did not have another situation like that happen again. I did look for it because I'm like, I'm not going to, your words, I have to see actions behind the words. But yeah, that was a time because I had invited other people out to that festival that did not know this individual. And it was,
that's the worst. You were introducing someone to people and then they embarrass you?
Yeah. Thinking about that, I have an even worse story, but we don't have to go into that. Don't let anybody lie to you. If they have friends that do it, 9 times out of 10, they would do it if put in the right opportunity.
That's a cold conversation about the company you keep.
Yes.
You really do become the company you keep. Hence why I have a lot of rich friends.
Oh, okay. I love it.
I mean, I'm not using my friends for money. I don't ask them for money, but I am a firm believer that you become who you hang out with. So if you hang out with bums, you're going to become a bum. You're going to become a bum.
You should.
If you hang out with people who are driven successful, you're going to become driven successful. And that's who I keep myself around.
Absolutely. I love to never be the biggest fish in my pond. I have my different circle of friends, and I'm the little fish in some and the bigger fish in others, but I'm always learning. So
always.
I get it. Yeah.
Be mindful of the company you keep, people. Look out for people you hang out with. Notice their energies. Notice how they act. Notice how they move. It's going to be important.
It's telling, especially the older you get. So, what are your final thoughts on friends that sometimes show no decorum? Let's say that.
Final thoughts on this, I'm going to say, of course, we all have our moments. Like I said, you have one too many, you having a good day or a bad day. You know, it's your birthday or you just with a breakup, whatever the case may be. So I can be understanding of situations like that, but at the same time, like, understand that if you're the friend who has no decorum, or whatever the case may be, you are not only reflecting yourself, you're reflecting the people you're hanging out with. You are, more, for lack of a better term, an ambassador for your group. Like, everyone who you go out with that evening is pretty much like has that kind of responsibility of hold it together. Like, we all went out. We don't want to be known as like the messy group or the messy friend or whatever the case may be. On the flip side of that, if you have friends who, have no decorum and no home training, if you want to have those conversations about, hey girl, you're doing A, B, C, and D, and I would like you to not do that, or this is why it's wrong, or whatever. Like, I think that's super respectful. I think that's super, kind and stuff like that. That you want to help your friend out and you want them to be like, hey girl, like, just let you know, this is how you act when you're drunk. However, if it's at the detriment of your own mental health, or you just really are annoyed with it, or you just are fed up with it, you don't have to stay. You don't have to be friends with this person. You don't have to hang around them. You don't even have to give a reason why you don't want to hang out with them. Be like, you can just be like, hey, I don't think this is going to work out, and leave it at that. If you don't really want to talk about how they be acting out in public. So, depends on your relationship with the person. It depends on how much energy you want to put into it. If you don't want to put a lot of energy into it, sounds like a good excuse to end a friendship, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But how about you?
Yeah, I would say that you don't necessarily have to drag along the inevitable if you're feeling that there are just fundamental differences in the way that you and an individual friend handle situations that are just really plaguing you. You need to exit stage left. Like, yes, personalities exist and characteristics exist. No one is the same. So we handle situations differently. But if it comes to a situation where it not only is making you question the judgment of that individual, but it's including you, like they're making decisions while you're out that could cause you to maybe be looked at a certain way by other individuals, or go to jail, or, get in trouble, or different things like that. Like, those types of influential situations need to be evaluated. And it really matters the older you get, right? Because when you're young, you have like friends. Sometimes you get in with quote unquote bad crowds and you just, you do things. But like, when you grow up and you know who you are as a person and you're stern in that, you have to honor what you expect. And what you expect doesn't just come from within yourself. It comes from the individuals you keep around you. You have a certain standard because or I would hope what the people around you are capable of. Like, you've grown a trust factor. And with trust comes me seeing what you can do. Now, if you're showing me repeatedly that you cannot change, that you're still in this young mindset of doing crazy things, then I have to accept that. And the way that I accept that is not trying to change you. It's me removing myself from the situation. So don't try to change people. People will change. You cannot change people.
Really can't.
So if they are who they are, you either accept it and you move on, or you don't and you move on.
And get that head bread, leave.
Yeah, get that head.
Peace out.
Yeah, so, well, okay. I love it. Love that. So, we're going to post to Twitter.
You're going to post. Once again, don't have access to the account.
Oh my God.
One day you'll get it right. Did you post last week?
I did.
Oh, once again, I wouldn't know if I had Twitter.
Soon, listeners, we'll talk about cop-outs. That'll be another episode. But anyway, I'll post to Twitter. How do you handle embarrassment in friendships? Whether you were the initiator of the embarrassment or you were the receiver of the embarrassment. You can find us Twitter at Funny Podcast. That is FUNNY FNI Podcast. We're on Instagram at The Friendship University. Feel free to email us at friendshipuniversity@gmail.com. We'll have everything in the description box below. If you have any ideas about topics you'd like us to discuss, if you have any feedback or any stories about any of the topics that we go through, we would love to read your drama. I mean, we don't like to be in other people's business, but I do love to read, and I like trash television, so I would love to hear about the trash going on in you all's life. We cannot be the only one who are trash human beings on this earth. Again, all of that will be in the description box. We thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for another week. We'll see you next Friday.
And we out.